on everyone, it's LJ, and this video is a response to vinyl community member SMF Captain Howdy. That's John up in Canada. You know, the vinyl community's biggest Kiss collector. Now a lot of us love Kiss and have pretty substantial collections. Every album, different variations, but John is just one of those Kiss collectors that throws himself all in. You know, from the gum that Gene Simmons chewed right down to the Argentinian pressing of the Peter Criss solo album. Like anybody but a real collector would dive so hard after an album like that. The US pressing is enough. John's a great guy. There's a link to his channel below. Selfless, fantastic, head full of knowledge, great musical taste, killer collection. You've got to check him out. The idea behind John's contest is John's an autograph collector, an autograph town. I mean, he knows when bands are going to be in town, where they're staying, what's on their tour rider, and he's right there to meet them. Absolutely head over heels into his hobby. So he wanted to see some autographs or hear some autograph stories. So why not do a little bit of both? So John, here we go. You know, in the first couple, John, came straight from you through your affiliation with Helix and the great video that you did having Brian Vollmer, the lead singer of Helix, show your Helix collection. John then spread the love this way, which was phenomenal. And John passed along Helix's Bastard of the Blues, signed by Brian, here down along the side. He then later sent Helix Christmas card, signed by all members of the band, and the Helix autobiography, or Brian Vollmer's autobiography, the story of Helix, Give Me an R, to LJ, Rock You, right here. You know, one of the trends that you're going to pick up here is something that I've noticed. I've gotten real deep into Canadian 70s rock over the past, couple of 3 years. I've always dug it, and I've always liked it, but the better known stuff, the Rush and Anvil and things like that, but together with Ottavio, guess I'm just a spud boy here in the vinyl community, really gone just headstrong, right down into the depths of it. And of course, Ottavio being in high school in the 70s in Canada, had that working knowledge of all those bands, and I learned so much from him, and was able to help trade and collect some really amazing albums that just not too far south of the Canadian border are really tricky to find. But what I've learned through that is that it seems to me the Canadian rock acts of the 70s were just more personable to the fans than a lot of the American acts were. And a lot of that is evident here through the pieces that I just showed you from Helix and the ones that I will show you here. Before we do that, here's a couple of other autograph pieces that you may think are cool. Another Canadian, an author, Martin Popoff, one of the preeminent people when it comes to reviews and writing about albums and different books. This is a Southern Rock review, and that's signed there by Martin. I don't always agree with Martin, but I love reading Martin, and he's got about the coolest job in the world. I just showed this in my Best of 2014 video. This is the debut album for Hinton, First Strike with the Devil. And right in here, this is autographed by the guitar player, Danny. And Danny was really cool. I was talking to him via email when I ordered the album. Super personable. Danny and I had some great discussions via email. What a great guy. Danny is in Hinton and in another band called Iron Curtain. And I asked him if he wouldn't mind sign it before he sent it. He said no problem. He grabbed a Bic pen, and there it is. And I was happy to have him do it. Also, from Ottavio and from Canada, Ottavio has known Anvil since way back in the day. He met up with them recently, and completely unbeknownst to me, had them sign a copy of The Story of Anvil. So here you have it signed by Steve Kudlow, Lips, and Rob Reiner, which was an amazing addition to the collection. And here is a pair of autographed Rob Reiner Vic Firth drumsticks. You see right there? What? That autograph is printed on the sticks? You're right. But that one's not. And that is very cool. And it's just awesome stuff. And again, super personal. He's just known them from way back when and is able to connect with them and get them to sign that in these. And I had no idea he was sending them along. Another amazing Canadian band. Here is Max Webster. And this is Mutiny Up My Sleeve. And I believe Kim Mitchell from Max Webster has a radio show on Q107 in Toronto. And Ottavio was able to work his way into the studio there and have Kim sign this album, as well as High Class in Borrowed Shoes. Another fantastic album signed by Kim there. You know, everyone knows Canada's other power trio is, besides Rush, is Triumph. Triumph, what an amazing band. And I'll tell you now, the first 2 Triumph records are near extinct in the United States. Unbelievably difficult to find. Now, Gil Moore, from Triumph, he owns and operates the Metalworks Institute in Mississauga near Toronto, a music school, in production school. Now, very often, I'm sure people send albums in to get them signed, and Gil Moore will sign them. But what's really, really tricky is getting all 3 members of Triumph to sign the albums. Fallout with the band, relationships, the other members, Mike Levine and Rick Emmett, may not be around. Now, Ottavio mentioned he was going to send a couple albums over to Metalworks to get them signed for me. And I thought that was awesome. Gil Moore would sign them when they ever came back. Signed by all 3 band members, personalized. So we have Mike Levine, hi LJ, Mike Levine, Rick Emmett, cheers LJ, and Gil Moore over here to LJ, all the best. That blew my mind. And here's the second album, of which a lot of different variations exist, signed at the same time, all to LJ by all 3 members of the band. Another quick autograph story, and then we'll call it quits and say congratulations, John. I want to say it was back in 1993. Metallica was on tour with Suicidal Tendencies. Walking up to the stadium, there was a table outside. I believe Lars Ulrich and Kirk Hammett were at that table from Metallica. Just to the right, Suicidal Tendencies, who was just going huge with their Lights Camera Revolution album. The Metallica table was jammed. There wasn't really anyone at the Suicidal Tendencies table, so I walked up, and there sat Robert Trujillo, the bass player, who funnily enough would join Metallica not too long after. Rocky George, Mike Clark, and Mike Muir. Walking up to all of them, I had a Yankees cap, if you can imagine that, and I handed it to them with a marker. Robert signed it, Rocky signed it, the rest of them signed it, and then I handed it to Mike Muir. And Mike signed it and went to hand it back to me. And when I went to grab it, he threw it. Why, jerk? Down and out, shoddy, horrible, horrible treatment to fans. Who knew an envelope was going to show up today from John? I had no idea. So from the man himself, here it is, and why not include it in the video? All I know is it says VCLT and do not bend. Who knows what could lie inside? Knowing John, it could be Ace Frehley's autographed underpants. It says, do not bend, and here we go. And what this? Wow! The 2015 VC member calendar. Check that out. What a fantastic idea. And here we go on the back. Would you look at that? I've never seen anything like that. That might just be the coolest thing I have ever seen. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest thing? A vinyl community calendar? You've got to be kidding me. John, that's just amazing. Much like yourself. Everyone, make sure you check out John's channel. Simply the coolest. Thank you all very much for watching. Talk to you soon. Later, y'all.